We are receiving some news in regard to the Chicago Bulls player Zach Collins. Got a wrist injury that'll keep him out for some time. And Coby White has practiced today. And from some reports, we seeing that Coby White is looking pretty damn good out there. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac. Gang.
Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm bringing you the latest for your Chicago Bulls. So if you tuned in, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, we're getting this straight from the Chicago Bulls that was also retweeted, and there was some context added by K.C. Johnson. But from the Chicago Bulls, we got a medical update with Zach Collins undergoing successful surgery yesterday to repair a non-displaced fracture in his left wrist. He will be evaluated in 4 weeks, according to the Chicago Bulls. For K.C. Johnson, he talked about when he spoke with Zach Collins and pretty much said after that last game that we just previously had, that when he spoke to Zach Collins said that he was fine. But obviously there is more to it, and now we're going to be without our backup center. And what leaves in place for us is my man's Jalen Smith, and he going to be able to go out there and potentially do something for the Chicago Bulls and just kind of try to support the Chicago Bulls and what they're trying to do this season off the bench. And that's kind of like a good thing to have right now, at least for backup purposes for the Chicago Bulls. But it is definitely a major loss for the Chicago Bulls when you talk about the effects that Zach Collins could potentially bring to the Chicago Bulls offense and defense. Me personally, I think he probably, out of the three, when it comes to the center spot, I will put him as the best defensive center that we have on this team right now. And yeah, it's a major blow, but at the end of the day, he will be returning or at least evaluated in 4 weeks. And I think that should be good for the Chicago Bulls and what we're trying to do, trying to figure some stuff out and get ready for this regular season. It's all 82. Yeah, we will miss Zach Collins for a couple games, but ultimately I see it as an opportunity for Jalen Smith to show us what he really is about. And then this is also an opportunity for the Chicago Bulls to try to find and figure out some type of rotations that'll be useful for the Chicago Bulls. And who knows, this extra playing time that is about to be placed in the hands of Jalen Smith, it might be able to bring him something pretty damn good once Zach Collins does come back. And it might be something that Billy Donovan can look to and be like, hey, this team that we're going against, you know what I'm saying, they have more bigs, per se, than some other teams around the league. And we can still use the services of Jalen Smith just in case Zach Collins, you know what I'm saying, has to take his time pretty much getting back. But we'll see what happens with that. And it's unfortunate because I thought that Zach Collins was going to be really, really a part of what we're trying to do here in Chicago. But hey, it is what it is. We still got to go play basketball games, and there's still some pretty good damn players on this squad for the Chicago Bulls. So we'll see what happens with that one, man. But hey, let me know your thoughts and everything about Zach Collins. I think it hurts the Chicago Bulls in a way, but it also opens up opportunity with Jalen Smith being right there for the Chicago Bulls as well. Now, we also been wondering about Coby White as well. And for Coby White, he did practice today. Coach Billy Donovan said last week that the team will use time between the final preseason game and the regular season opener to put him through contact and ramp him up, assuming no setbacks. Coby White is expected to play versus the Detroit Pistons, and that is coming from K.C. Johnson. And he also echoed K.C. Johnson, I'm talking about, pretty much saying that he spoke with Billy Donovan, and Billy Donovan said that Coby White looked good and went through most of contact on Saturday. The plan is to increase the contact Monday after an off day on Sunday. So for me, while you take some bad news, you get some good news as well. You know what I'm saying? So I say we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? With Coby White. My biggest thing with Coby White is that I hope that this setback with that calf strain that he suffered back in August does not hinder him from having an all-star type season. Because I think that Coby White, if we look at him for the last few seasons, you look at Coby White and you say, hey, you start off hot and then you kind of fizzle out, or you start off cool and then you get hot. I had the expectations of having Coby White insert himself into this lineup and really be that number one option for the Chicago Bulls to the point and be good at it to the point to where you could potentially see Coby White mentioned in some all-star conversations. Not necessarily making the all-star game, because I think that we're going to have to see a lot from not only Coby White, but the Chicago Bulls team as well. And I just don't know what I'm going to get out of this team. And I say that because when we look at the Chicago Bulls team, we say, yeah, we got a few bright spots, or at least I say that, yeah, we have a few bright spots. You know what I'm saying? Some players that look really, really good in preseason. But the biggest question for me is always going to be, how does it come all together to where all those guys can go out there and really perform at a level that can see us win basketball games? Because, yeah, we start off versus the Detroit Pistons, but then we take off and face off versus the Orlando Magic. And I'm pretty sure there's a couple games with the Cavs and the Knicks within the first few weeks of the season that I think the Chicago Bulls need to be trying to go out there and stack wins, catch some teams sleeping right away, stack some wins together to where you can be able to go through some challenges or some adversity throughout the season that won't completely knock you out of position. So I think that they all need to come together, and we'll see how that all transpires and how that runs over the course of this season. But it's good that Coby White has been handling the practice well. We'll see what it looks like, or you know what I'm saying, if they report some things on Monday to see if Coby White, how he handled more contact. So we'll see. We'll see, man. That's all I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see if Coby White can go out there and hold his own, which I know he's going to do well. But I'm trying to see if we're just going to be looking at a 20-point per game Coby White, or are we going to look at a Coby White that's getting ready to take another step to where he's able to average 22, 24, you know what I'm saying, points per game, and have his backcourt mate Josh Giddey be able to back him up with some similar performances of what we've seen throughout the preseason of, you know, like 18, 8-8 or 18, 7-8 or something like that. And then see what Montes Buzelis can give us, because throughout this entire preseason, every time we've looked at the box score with Montes Buzelis, you see Montes Buzelis 18 points, 19 points, all around, double-digit points. And then the block totals just have been ridiculous as well. You see in games where he's getting more than 2 blocks a game. You see in the games where he's able to, I think last game he had 4 blocks at the last game of the season versus the Timberwolves. So we'll see how this all come together. I think that we definitely need to start the season with Coby White off and allow Coby White to do Coby White things, man. And these guys go out there and win some basketball games, because we know we're not a championship contender, but that don't mean that we want to see these guys go out there and play like crap. That's what that absolutely don't mean, that for sure. But we got Brazzo in the building. Says Zach Collins was always getting Bulls back from horrible first quarters. I agree with that, man. I agree with that. Me and C-Dub was definitely talking about that on the daily episode that we posted earlier, to where we talked about how the Chicago Bulls slow starts. They need to get that shit in order. They really do. They need to get that in order. They need to get those slow starts in order. And there might come a point, in my personal opinion, where you might have to say Nikola Vucevic is not helping us that much on defense, and that's kind of why we falling behind. It's not the end all be all or just the only person that we can point to. All those guys have to be better. I want to be clear on that. But at the same time, I think that guys like Zach Collins help the Chicago Bulls defensively more so than the other bigs that we have. Shy Lanta, he says now it's Jalen's turn. Coby got buff as hell. Excuse the language. You good, man. But I think that, hey, it's time to hoop, man. It's time to hoop. That's what it come down to. Ain't no more preseason games. Ain't no more we trying to figure some stuff out. Like the big things. I think it's now more so the small things. Can you get off on better starts to start your game? How well do you defend? Will some of those charges start to now turn in your favor if you're the Chicago Bulls? Those are some of the things, those small things you want to work on throughout the season. So by the time we do get out of the All-Star break and go down the stretch for the season, you give yourself an opportunity to actually be in the playoffs, not the play-in, the playoffs. Shit, can we get to that? For real. Shatlanta also says, yes, it is now. Noah might have a chance too. Hey, I'm hoping that we can get Noah in there, but I'm not too sure right away. When you listen to Billy Donovan talk, it looked like that he wants to see a little bit more development out of Noah Essengate before he throws him out there. He talked about seeing Noah Essengate be more physical with some of the things that's being thrown at him on the basketball court. So I would say that'll be one thing that they'll like to see, some more physicality out there. And I can't admit that there are some places where you see Noah Essengate just get his ass pushed to the ground, and I'll be like, damn, you flying like that, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's not to say he's not capable. That's just to say that there are some instances. Hey, you looking at Noah Essengate to where he need to be more physical and be able to hold his own a little bit better. I think that when we talk about that plan for Noah Essengate, and then you look at it and then you try to draw some similarities between him and Montes Buzelis, I think that you're gonna see a similar developmental plan for Noah Essengate to what Montes Buzelis had to go through last year, as much no matter how bad we was calling for him, because there's gonna be a lot of us calling for Noah Essengate, especially like when you see if a certain player or players go out there and not performing at a good level, and you could say, hell, if we're gonna play like this, might as well play the young kid, right? So I think that's something that those players that are getting that tick, they're gonna have to definitely maintain that and definitely be able to show us what they're really made of, because we can't be playing games, especially when we got young bulls out there that's just mindless with no pressure on them to go be good. You get that opportunity to somebody instead of, you know what I'm saying, guys that ain't really taking advantage of it, and they veterans. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if we calling them young guys, a lot of these guys been around the damn league for a couple years now. So if they not performing, I'm with everybody else. Let's see Noah for real. So, but hey, that is it for me, y'all. Just wanted to bring out the latest for the Chicago Bulls and Zach Collins, man. He gonna be out for 4 weeks or maybe 5. I imagine after the reevaluation point, they'll probably try some ramp up to see how it is. So I'll probably give it 5 or 6 weeks, but reevaluate it in 4 weeks to see the healing process, to see how far it's come along. But you never know with the Chicago Bulls training staff. It's always somebody coming back, and they might spend a little bit more time. So we'll see. I'm gonna try to give him some grace, but we'll see. We'll see, man. Hopefully he heals well and we'll be straight. Coby White, we'll see. I hope he's back for that Detroit game, because I feel like that'll be a good spark for this young team, just to see him go out there. There may be a little bit of rust on him. They might have to, monitor his minutes or whatnot, but it'll be better to have him than to not have him. So, but hey, that is it for me, y'all. Make sure before you get up out of here, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We are doing a mailbag episode for tomorrow, and we still got the line open. So if you want to call in and be a part of that, the number to do so is 773-242-9219. And that number is also in the description box for you. But hey, we appreciate y'all. Make sure you always see red, and y'all already know I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace.
Cognac. Gang.